Episode 79 of the Thunder Underground podcast is here. My name's Trent, and this is Jason.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Kirk Windstein is back.
He's here for part two, or, the second installment, I guess you would say.
Yeah, we had him on last year. I think it was November.
Yeah.
It was actually our most successful episode as far as listens have gone, so.
That's right.
Thanks to everybody that listened, and of course coming back now, because who doesn't want to hear Kirk Windstein talk some more?
Yeah, you always want to hear that. And we got a couple of the other guys involved this time, too.
Yeah, Tommy Buckley, the drummer, and Matt Brunson, the guitarist from Crowbar, also chimed in about some stuff, and it's all good stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
And we had the chance here. We actually recorded this a little over a week ago. We went to Oklahoma City. Crowbar was doing a headlining gig at Thunder Alley, and the night before they kicked off this tour they're doing now with Carcass.
Yeah.
And who else is on it?
Ghoul.
Night Demon.
Yes.
And the One Foot in the Grave tour, which is currently going on. Kick-ass lineup of metal. But we caught their first one-off show right before that went, and excited because I don't think I've ever seen a Crowbar headline show.
No, and in a place, intimate place like that was great. Yeah.
Like every time I'd seen it had been open for somebody.
Yeah.
Or, saw him way back with Pantera, and hey. So yeah, quite a privilege and honor just to be able to see that. Not only see that, and then of course get to sit down with him and talk to him again.
Oh, definitely.
But we went to the show and got out there early to check out a couple of the opening bands, because there was a couple there that we definitely want to see. One of which was Arkhon, who we've spoke about a couple times now, because this, I guess, is the third time we've seen them in the last few months.
Yeah.
They're getting on a lot of these shows, and rightfully so.
Oh, yeah. These guys slay.
Yeah, they're just, they got this heavy as hell sound that's just perfect, that can, a perfect sound that can cross into different paths, like they open for Act of Defiance, with the guys from Megadeth and Shadows Fall, that's like, more streamlined metal than Crowbar is obviously your doom sludge stoner style thing, and they fit perfectly.
Yeah,
with both of them.
It still works. Yeah.
And these guys are just, exceptional musicians. It's just straight up balls out heavy metal. And that's if you love heavy metal, there's no way you cannot love Arkhon. Yeah,
and Andy is an insane guitar player. He just does all this balls out shit, and he does the tapping like nobody I've ever seen, like seriously. The way he just holds his fingers with his, he uses his pinky and his middle finger on his right hand. And I mean, it's just nuts. I mean, but at the same time, he's got the soul and the balls, too. So, I mean, I just love watching that guy play. We got to see him last night too, by the way.
Yeah.
That's a whole other story altogether, though.
You'll hear about that soon. But yeah, we hung out, and talked to him for quite a bit last night too at another show, and just an awesome dude, as well as being an awesome guitarist.
Yeah, definitely.
After that, we saw, and if you want to hear Arkhon, go back to our Chris Broderick episode.
Yeah.
A few episodes ago, we play an Arkhon track, so check that out. We also saw Smoke Offering.
Yes.
And I think the last time we saw him live was with Crowbar as well.
Yeah,
I think they played Oklahoma City at the farmers market. They opened up for Crowbar, and then we're opening up for Soulfly, as well as Insight, who we've also had on the podcast.
Yes.
And speaking of Smoke Offering, we've had Kyle and Kenny from Smoke Offering on the podcast, and as well as, Lola was in the band at that time. She was
there for a little bit.
And then the rest of the guys from Kyle's other band, Forever and Disgust, were on. That was a joint episode with all those. It was a cool one because it's the biggest one we've ever done as far as the amount of people involved. I think with us two and them, it was 9 or 10 people.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah. And on that episode, we played a Smoke Offering track. And guess what? We're going to play one right now.
I think that's a great idea.
Because it's been a while. I think we're due time.
Yeah.
And these guys are badass. So check this track out. This is Smoke Offering, Bottle with a Handle.
Somebody out there need to roll a buffalo for me. Whiskey and weed always
Bottle with a Handle from Smoke Offering. Once again, very glad to be playing these guys again. It was awesome as hell to see them live again.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just, this whole, all their songs, just have guitar riffs that fucking groove for days on end. It's like, we're talking about Kirk Windstein. This is like what he's, one of the legends of riffing. And he would hear this and
love it
and be proud of it. Pepper Keenan would hear this and think it was great. This is how good this stuff is. And I can't speak highly enough about how much I love Smoke Offering. They're just like perfect, that straight up stoner rock metal,
Yeah. I mean, and I'm just so proud these guys are from Tulsa. And, this is what I want more people to realize. And they just have a great sound. They've got a great vibe. Kyle everything in his lyrics and in his vocals is just passion. He really feels it. And it's the true, genuine article with that guy. And, we got to talk to him for a while, and, it's just, we're really fortunate to combine forces with these guys. It's just awesome.
Yeah. And he's, as well as passion in the music and lyrics, just as a front man in the live setting as well.
Yeah.
He
Definitely.
really commands a crowd and, gets people into it and, does it justice.
Yeah, definitely. And they did a couple Black Sabbath songs. Our buddy Trevor A. Tree went with us.
Yes.
And he was digging the Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
That was awesome too, that, he had never seen Crowbar before. So, it was just a good night all around.
Well, we talked to Kyle for quite a bit after they played, hung out outside talking to him, which was great. He talked about some stuff he's got going on that we'll talk about soon enough when he announces it. And then, we also talked to Kenny, the drummer, for a little bit.
Yeah, we
did. I know you mentioned that you really love the drums on this song.
Yeah, I just love the little drum roll and it's so different and it just, it really, really pops and stands out. I love it.
Yeah. And just, if you get a chance to see these guys live, do it. They don't play a ton, but, cause they all got other stuff going on, but if you get the chance, you won't regret it.
Yeah. And it makes when they do play that much more special.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and we've seen him in Oklahoma City twice, and I don't think I've seen him in Tulsa.
Yeah, I know.
I've seen him Forever and Discuss a couple times here, but
Yeah.
Well, the subject of the day is Kirk Windstein, and like we said, he's back here for the second time, and just like the first time, he couldn't have been more accommodating.
Yes.
Not just him,
the whole Crowbar camp.
Yeah, his wife, Robin, every band member. They're just exceptional people.
Yeah.
And you can't say, we've done this now for over a year and we've ran across, most everybody's been cool.
Yeah.
But every once in a while you run across someone that just treats you like, you've known them for 20 years.
Yeah, exactly. Or it's like they treat you like they're here for you instead of we're here for them.
Right.
And that just goes such a long way. And he's so, the whole camp is just so accessible and they're so thankful. I think, one of what you'll hear in the interview is in the middle of the interview, there's a knock on the bus. And it's just like two guys, with their demo. And they said, hey, we wanted to give you this. And Kirk answered the door himself. We want to give you this demo because, we can't stay for the show. We've got our own show. And, Kirk took the demo and gave him a few minutes of his time. And not everybody does that. And that stuff is really special. It really is.
Yeah. And like I mentioned, Robin, we've met up with her before Kirk, and, he was busy before we do the interview. And she stood out there and talked to us for like 10 minutes. And she's just, just like him. Just a great person. And it's just, I have to keep rambling on about it, but that's just, it's just nice, in this day and age, to run across that. And I think you've mentioned a few times, like Dave Elfson said that, we're at the point now where people, understand that, you just need to be cool.
You have to be cool. Exactly.
Not like Kirk had to realize that. He's always been that way, but, just in general, it's good that this is happening, right?
Yeah, it's only gonna help the whole metal and rock community just kind of come back stronger. Is these positive attitudes, really.
Okay, and when we get into this, one of the first things I think it's probably the first thing we talk about, was the fact that Matt Thomas was there.
Yeah.
who is I don't know if he's the original guitarist, but he was there during their rise in the 90s.
Yeah.
And, he lives in Oklahoma City now, so he just came out to the show to say hi. And, and it kind of worked out the fact that Todd Strange is back now for the first time in 16, 17 years. And Kirk said this is the first time all three of them had been together since 96.
That's great.
And, that's when we first got there. That's who he was over there talking to. So it was kind of cool to see that. And then I think during the interview he came by and said bye. So it's kind of a neat thing to just be able to be there and see firsthand.
Yeah, definitely. That's kind of some history coming back full circle.
Yeah. And like we mentioned earlier, last time we did this, Matt Brunson and Tommy Buckley were both there, but they were just kind of watching football, doing their own thing.
Yeah.
But this time they were both in there as well, and Tommy got involved in the conversation a few times, and then Matt did, I think, during the talk about streaming music and stuff.
Spotify
and Tommy had some great stuff to say about
Kiss
and Night Ranger and everything. So, kind of cool to be able to get 3/4 of Crowbar mixed up on this one as well. So definitely looking forward to hearing this back.
Yeah, very fortunate.
Yeah. So let's just quit wasting time and let's get to it. Here's Kirk Windstein from Crowbar.
Thomas.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he lives
that was
here
the first. Yeah, he's been here for 20 years. He left New Orleans. His wife was originally from here, and they just got a divorce recently, like in the last year or two. They got 2 kids. They took over the family business. He's been here since '96.
Wow.
So it's weird because we just got Sexy T back in the band.
Yeah.
And Robin took a picture of me, Matt, and T. We haven't been in the same room together in 20 years.
That's insane. Is that a little surreal, probably?
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, Matt's such a great guy. Really nice. But when he quit, he quit. I mean, he hasn't played guitar, anything. He just now he's an attorney.
So there wasn't bad blood or anything. It's just you gotta do what you
not
gotta
at
do.
all.
Yeah.
It was kind of like we were all crying. It's like, man, he's like, if I don't do this right now, I'm gonna want to stab myself in 5 years. Because his wife was like, look, my parents want us to take over the business, which is an I-35 imports car thing. So he was always into cars and all anyway. So he had a Porsche like way back then, And so they started doing, that was business for a while. He was an auction buyer. He got his license for all that. He traveled all around buying cars. He goes to the Indy 500. He's all into Formula One stuff and all. So now he was like, I guess, with the business, his wife, I guess, owns it now because it was her family's originally. And I'm guessing, but he's an attorney now. Yeah. But he's got a 12-year-old and a 15-year-old kids. I mean, I think everything's fine with him in life. Yeah. It's weird because I saw his girlfriend and I'm like, I haven't seen her in like 20-something years. She was from New Orleans. I'm like, well, I recognize her and I'm like, wait a minute. This chick's from New Orleans. Or somewhere in Louisiana. And a little bit ago, Robin noticed and she's like, I know you. And she's like, yeah, I'm Becky or whatever. And then I thought about it and I'm like, well, what's she doing here? And she's like, like I say, reconnected or something. They used to date years ago. It's crazy because me and Robin kind of dated like 30 years ago. Okay. And we were always friends. We never anything real serious. Never any, bad fallout or nothing. We always remained like really good friends. And then the timing was just right. And it was like, I asked her to marry me drunk first fucking day. She's like, yeah.
First day.
Well, I mean, we didn't make it official then, but we started talking about it the first date. I'm like, well, you know what? She's like, I don't want to grow old alone. I'm like, me either. It just moved. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, this is kind of random, but you know you're competing with Night Ranger tonight for ticket sales.
Oh, Night Ranger? I'm actually a big fan, but I think we got different crowds.
I know that's what I was going to say. I know most people would be like, well, who cares? But I would love to see both of you guys on the same bill.
I'd love to see Night Ranger. I actually saw them right when they started, when this Sister Christian or whatever was really getting big. I saw them right by Tommy's old house and shit on that tour back. Tommy, when did Night Ranger play St. Bernard Civic?
That was in like
84?
Yeah, it was like 84, something like that, 85. Like, I couldn't go, bro. I had to go to drum lessons that night. I was fucking still taking drum lessons.
Marching owls.
No, well, I was going to Ray Francis. I had a private fucking teacher.
Yeah.
So I went every fucking Monday at 7 o'clock. Store closed at like 7. So I was like the first student after hours.
Yeah.
So I go every fucking Monday, once a week, 7 to 7:30, and fuck concert just happened to be on a Monday.
Yeah.
So couldn't go, dude. I try to get out of fucking so many drum lessons, dude. I'd be like, man, I want to go see fucking Lillian Axe and Night Ranger. I want to go see Accept and Dio and Keel. And I'm like, no, you ain't fucking canceling out. I'm like, fuck. My mom would never let me cancel out, dude. But it was alright when my fucking teacher canceled out. He'd call me back, look, just can't do it tonight, I got some other shit going on. Yeah, dude, I missed that gig.
Yeah.
I missed the Night Ranger gig.
Well, yeah, we saw them, and I was like,
Dude, Brian Gillis was speaking of
yeah.
devil, huh, bro?
Yeah.
Dude, that dude's so on fire, bro. That album.
Yeah, it's like they're pretty good, actually. Yeah, they're good.
So this Carcass tour starts tomorrow.
Yes.
That's a pretty cool, diverse lineup,
Yeah, I mean, I think those packages to me work best. Like we've done, in the past we've done tours together with like Suffocation. We've supported Morbid Angel,
right on that?
like 11ish.
11?
And it works out great because it kind of brings I asked David Vince and myself, I'm like, well, why did you pick Crowbar? He goes, to be honest with you, I'm sick of having 20 bands that sound exactly like Morbid Angel play before we come on, and everybody's ears are shot and the crowd's already smoked. It was just Morbid Angel, Crowbar, and maybe one local. And he goes, y'all are heavy as fuck, so we're completely different styles of music, and it works together as a package. Same thing with us in Suffocation. It worked out great. We flip-flop some nights headline, and they flip-flop headline or whatever. And it was a great package. It was two very heavy styles of music, but completely different. So,
Yeah, I can't imagine it'd be too different in crowd because that's just.
I think most people we're known for the heavy, slower stuff and whatever, but it's still fucking heavy. It's brutal in its own way. So most people appreciate it, even if you're into the a more technical death metal or whatever type band. I don't think we cross over much into the black metal type stuff, but we've always done well with hardcore bands, death metal bands, whatever in the past, supporting our headline and packages and stuff. So the Carcass thing should be great.
Yeah. Both you guys and them have always had that kind of underground following too.
Yeah, they're obviously a bigger band, but they've it's kind of they've been around a long time. It's a legendary band, so we're really looking forward to it.
Well, you mentioned Todd coming back. So how did that all come about? Whenever you guys were looking for a bass player, or knew you needed another bass player?
What happened was me and Robin started hanging out with him at least about a year ago, maybe more, and we started kind of rekindling our friendship. When he left, it was never any bad blood. It's just he went his way and I went my way, or we went our way, whatever. So we started hanging out with him, and he was like, "Yeah, man, I've been playing and all that." And, it just kind of got where we kind of started seeing things where maybe things weren't going to work out with Jeff, and it wasn't. I always want to make this point because I've done a few interviews where people have asked. It wasn't a situation of, "Ooh, let's get Todd back, so we're going to let Jeff go." It was a situation of we saw signs of potentially things not working out with Jeff, and I asked Todd, I said, are you in a position in your life now where if things don't work out with Jeff, would you be able to come on tour? And he's got a 15-year-old son, and he said, yeah, the way everything's worked out, he goes, I'd love to do it, So he's been a diesel mechanic since he left the band, And he just the other day he said, if I don't ever see another fucking bobcat in my life, it won't be soon enough. He's a friend of ours owns a bobcat company. But, so we talked, I always have in life, I always have a backup plan. It was kind of like, okay, we're not hoping that things don't work out with Jeff or anything like that. Let's just see what happens. Let's see if things change, And it just was a situation that unfortunately didn't work out. And so, we decided to just let Jeff go. And Todd was like, I'm ready. So it worked out great. I mean, it was wonderful, being on. It's just so crazy, especially seeing Matt Thomas today. It's just like, Jesus, I'm 51 years old. We haven't been in a room together since I was 31. I mean, that's, it's crazy.
So was it just like, it's been, 16, 17 years, did it feel like time hadn't passed when you guys started jamming together the first time? Or?
Pretty much, man. I mean, the first jam was really good. We were like, wow, it was crazy being on stage last night, the first time in that many years, but it worked. I mean, I'm one of those guys, I'm for the most part, I'm like the eternal optimist, and I always try to think positive, even though my life is, I'm always living with anxiety and stress and whatever else. So that's just my nutty brain. But I'm one of those guys that's a firm believer that everything happens for a reason, and for me, and as a band, Jeff's now in the band more dying, and they're a great band and friends of ours, so we're really happy for him. And everything happens for a reason. That may be a better fit for him, and obviously for us, we feel Todd is for us. And it's in the end, everybody wins.
So this is permanent? This isn't just a touring thing?
Oh no, it's permanent.
Okay. Yeah.
So new album, how's it shaping up? And
It's done.
it's done, yeah.
I saw you were, like a couple weeks ago, said you were in the mixing stage. That's done?
Yeah, it's done. In fact, I got a text. Matt texted me. I was in the venue and he was out here last night saying producers got the final mix back and said it sounds amazing. Final master. We had mixed everything. He had it mastered, and we went and critiqued everything, and we did the running order of the songs, did the fades and all that kind of stuff. And we all agreed that the vocals were a little too low, so we bumped it up like 1.5 dB and sent it back to be remastered again, and it set everything so better.
So do you have a date yet?
It's tentatively for now, last Tuesday in September. Records always come out on Tuesdays, so last Tuesday in September is the tentative release date.
So, is the direction similar to Symmetry and Black? I mean, you guys have never really strayed too far from what you do, but
it's a little more, to me, like, more old school, fresh. So it's more, some of the songs, to me, sound like they could have been on some of the older records. It's just, my singing style has evolved a lot over the years, and I personally, I like it a lot better now. I guess back then I was kind of trying to find my voice for a few records, really. But it sounds amazing sonically. The songs, the riffs and the songs are great. It's a really strong, great album. To me, it's like a fresh, old Crowbar record. So.
You mentioned 20 years ago, and that's the Broken Glass came out. You guys did that tour earlier this year. Now, I remember, I didn't ever really see anything after it. It said you guys were playing tracks from it, a lot of them, or did you play the album in its entirety?
No, we didn't do it. We did like 4 or so, 4 or 5, whatever. But tonight, we'll probably do 3 off of it. But it was kind of a thing where I realized, I was just like, wow, 20 years ago. It's actually October was the release date, I believe. But I was like, wow, 20 years ago is when Broken Glass came. And I mentioned it to Josta, Jamie. He's like, dude, it's a great idea to celebrate. It's a great album. It's one of the fan favorites and all that. I was talking to Matt Thomas about it because that was the last one he played on, and so we kind of said, let's celebrate the 20th anniversary of it and do some extra tracks. So we had never done the song Broken Glass live. We might have done it once or twice, but it just didn't groove. It didn't swing. It just didn't feel right. We kind of dropped that song, and that's a song that people have been requesting every fucking night forever. We have a little inside joke because we'll be in between the song or whatever, you hear somebody, Broken Glass, and I'll be like, sweep it up. But I mean, every night it's somebody screaming, you know, turn down Broken Glass. So we now do that track, you know, as well, and it's fucking heavy as fuck live, man.
Have you considered ever playing anything in its entirety?
You know what? I have, and I remember Jimmy Bauer telling me, I think they might have did the first record. What's the first record? The Name of Suffering? The Iagon? I think they did it in its entirety, and he's like, dude, do yourself a favor. Never do one of your old records in its entirety. You realize how, you know, how much you've evolved and how there's a reason you don't play certain songs live. Because, I mean, when a band, like, we honestly don't do anything off of Obedience to Suffering. To me, I feel like that was, I'm not putting it down, but to me it was a glorified demo tape. It was such a poor recording quality and such a low budget, and it's kind of like we found ourselves a lot more. We were still in a transitional period with the band as far as writing, and when Crowbar, that's kind of why we just called the second record Crowbar. Because to us it was like our first real record, and that one still stands the test of time. And we do, like tonight we're doing of course, All I Had I Gave. We do High Rate Extinction. We do No Quarter, which we kind of reworked. It's really badass, man. I love it. And we do I Have Failed as an encore. So, you know, that's a record from 1993, and we still do 4 tunes off of it. Of course, on the Carcass tour, we're probably going to get 40 to 50 minutes. So, you know, we're going to have to strip it down and just pick like 9 tunes or something, you know, which is tough when you got 10 records out. You try to cover a lot of ground, but there's certain songs that you have to play. You know? We can't not play Planets Collide. We can't not play All I Had I Gave. And now we feel like we have not only do we love it, but we want to always play Walk with Knowledge Wisely. We always want to play Cemetery Angels, you know. And then you look at some of the other tracks, you know, and it's just it's like, wow. Before you know it, you know, 3/4 of your set list is chewed up on stuff that people have to hear. So what do you choose from, you know? And then a lot of times people are like, you know, why don't you play this one? And I'm like, it's difficult to explain it. We have over 100 songs, so if we're only going to play for an hour and 10 minutes, what do you do? Yeah. I mean, there's fucking 60 songs. I couldn't even tell you the name of them, one word, how to play it or anything. More than that, probably. I mean, when you think, you know, now we're on record number 11. There's another 10 track. There's 10 tracks on this album. So we got, you know, over 110 fucking songs.
Well, yeah, Walk with Knowledge Wisely should be in there. That I think that stands out like anything from, you know, 25 years ago.
Yeah. It sounds great live too. It's one of my favorites.
Well, is there any band that you wish would do a certain record live that hasn't or anything like that?
I was lucky enough to see in 2006. Down played when we first got back together, like the Diary of a Mad Band thing and all. When we played at the Download Festival, Metallica played. Well, we didn't know it, but they played like 3 or 4 songs right off the bat, you know, like Sad But True and a couple of the newest stuff or whatever. And then all of a sudden this gigantic backdrop of Master of Puppets comes up, and he didn't even speak a word. They played the entire Master of Puppets record from front to back, and it was fucking amazing. I actually got a pick, a Master of Puppets 20th anniversary pick from James Tech. But that was great. Like if Carnivore was still around, I'd love to see Retaliation done from front to back. I'd love to see if Beat was still alive. I'd love to see the first Still Deep and Hard from front to back. That's one of my Retaliation and Still Deep and Hard, 2 of my favorite records ever. You know, like if the real Kiss was around, you know, I'd love to see like Hotter Than Hell or something from front to back. You know. But in general, I think it's a good thing to do. Like Matt that played with Prong. What record did y'all do back in Denver? Yeah, Matt did a tour on bass with Prong. Called him at the last minute, like, dude, can you learn 20 songs by tomorrow? Fly to Europe, and he's like, yeah. So he did that, and but then, you know, I think that went over well with the record. But in general, you know, for us, I mean, I don't see us doing it. The problem being is like for Metallica, well, of course they were headlining Download Fest, so they were able to not only do the entire Master of Puppets record, which albums back then weren't nearly as long as they are now anyway.
Yeah.
You know, even though there's some long songs on it, there's not even, how many songs are on there? Like eight or nine?
Eight songs, yeah.
Okay, so even though they do have some long shit, but still 8 tracks, but they play 2 hours, you know. So I mean, they came out, did 4 or 5 tunes, did the whole fucking record, and then they continued doing, you know, shit off fucking Ride the Lightning and you know, Justice and Black Album, whatever, you know. So you know, that works for a band like them that can play 2 hours, but we don't, you know.
Well, you mentioned No Quarter. In the past 20 plus years, have you ever heard from anyone involved with Led Zeppelin? Any thoughts?
When we first released it, I did an interview with Burn magazine in Japan, and apparently the guy Jimmy Page had heard it and thought it was good. So, but the way we do it now live is completely different than the way it is. I mean, it's the same structure, but it's a lot different. We kind of rewrote it, added a lot more harmonies. I sing it a lot more true to, you know, the original a little bit.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. You know?
Yeah. Well, I was curious because everybody's got a different take on this, but you've been in the business long enough to see both sides. What do you think of stuff like Spotify and YouTube and all these streaming services?
I mean, it's good and it's bad. I mean, it's like when I was just talking to Matt Thomas, he had so many questions because he's been out of the game for 20 years, and when he was when he left the band, it was people still sold records.
Right.
This is 1996. It's before, you know, any of this kind of crap came about. I mean, people had you know, computers at home, but it was in its, you know, infant stage or whatever.
Microsoft Word.
So, you know, and he was asking about stuff like that. So it's like, I mean, look, it is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, Matt had looked up something like if something got played X number.
Some guy had like 178 million plays or whatever.
That's what it was.
Or some shit like that. And he got paid $5,600.
Yeah, for 178 million.
I did the roundabout, like this way. The number that it goes out to, like money per play, is so infinitesimally small. Like you can't actually do the math on it.
Yeah, it's like point.
There's rounding errors.
Point,
and
there's
it's
15 zeros.
0.000023 cents per play. I don't know.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Fraction.
I mean, like we got Walker Knowledge Wisely or something that played like 174,000 times. We got like $2.
That was like 300 and something thousand.
Got like
times.
$2 and some change.
$2 and some change for that.
I mean, it's ridiculous. It's like, look, if you're gonna fucking have all this stuff, it's great, but you know, pay us.
Yeah, do the right thing.
You know, it's like, I mean, the only thing that you, fortunately, in my opinion, the live, even though there's so much traffic out there, like we got Night Ranger, and you know, tonight, and us here. Yeah, they have the casinos. Do y'all have casinos here?
Amusement park.
Yeah, we've got casinos every 12 feet.
Yeah, but, because we have casinos in New Orleans, but we have a couple of venues, IP and Hard Rock, yeah, in Biloxi, which is like an hour and 15 minutes from New Orleans, and everybody plays Hard Rock. But yeah, I mean, one thing that is still there is a live setting, and I think that everybody tours. It's the only way to make money, so there is a lot of traffic. I mean, you know, we'll be like, I guarantee you, the night we play like New York City with Carcass, there's probably 15 other fucking shows in the area of style of music like us that people have to choose from. You know, it's like, you know, we go to a venue and we see the flyers, and it's like, oh, Prong were here last night, and fucking I Hate God's here next week. You know, and it's kind of like the dollar only goes so far. You know, if you're into this genre, you have to pick and choose. I mean, you can't go to every fucking show.
Yeah.
But I think that it's, you know, when you draw well and do a successful tour, I mean, it's a great thing. But I mean, one thing you can't download is live experience. I mean, you can watch it, you know, but I mean, it's not like being there.
Right.
So I mean, and it's the same thing with merchandise. You know, merchandise is so important to bands because it's a lot of nights it's half of our income if it's a really good night of sales. There's another thing is, I mean, you can't I'm sure there's a way you can download a T-shirt or something, but in reality, you can't. So I mean, if you go to the concert, buy a ticket, watch the show, buy a piece of merchandise or something, you've got that experience, and that's something that's, that lasts a lifetime. I mean, especially if you're a younger person. I mean, they were playing Judas Priest and Accept last night over the PA, and I'm like, playing Defenders of the Faith. I'm like, I remember being on that tour, in 85 or whatever it was, 84. My dad was actually our designated driver, so we could get drunk. He drove us to Mississippi, listen to Motorhead and Wasp and shit the whole way there, because he loves Judas Priest. So he said, man, y'all can let all y'all get fucking drunk. So we got a case of beer, we'll ride there. Woo, had a blast. But I mean, I'm thinking back to these memories from 30 plus years ago. It stays with you for a lifetime, man. So that's the thing. Like, our attitude going on stage is, to these people, some people have never seen us before. Some people will never see us again. Some people have waited months. Some people have waited their whole, 15, 20, 30, whatever, since the band's been around to see the band. So it's like, you got to give 110% every note, every song, every night, because it really is, I mean, being such music fans as we are, like Tommy as well, like his parents, when he was real young, he's 5 and 6 years old, seeing fucking Kiss and UFO and all these great bands. His parents went to all the concerts, they music lovers, they like to party a little bit, and they bring him along. It's back in the fucking, 70s, man. But, shit's different now, but still, we get a lot of fathers and bringing the sons and even daughters or whatever, our moms and dads bringing the kids to the shows, and it's great, it's awesome. It's kind of come a whole generation where, I'm 51 years old, you got guys my age, even older out there in the crowd, and you got kids, that to them, we're this old legendary band or some shit, and like my stepson always jokes, like, are you popular? And I'm like, here, I say, well, to the people who are fans of the band, yes, but in general, no, I'm not fucking Michael Jackson or something, but like, to the people whose favorite band is Crowbar, if they're a big fan of the band or whatever, then, obviously, yeah, to those people, I'm important.
Well, we saw you back in the fall with Soulfly, and we talked to you then.
Oh, at the farmer's market?
Yeah. And I just noticed how, you went walking out through the crowd, and people would stop you, and you were gracious to all of them, and you were at the merch table, and you do the Christmas card thing. I mean, I think that goes a long way now. It kind of ties into what you were saying about, it's kind of a different game nowadays.
Yeah.
Just to be that accessible, I think is great.
I mean, some people can't. Obviously, if you're a more popular person, you can't. And then at the same time, some people aren't comfortable with it. But like for me, now if my wife wasn't doing merch, I probably wouldn't be hanging out of merch. But it works out great because it's kind of like, I usually kind of help her a little bit with it. But now my stepson came out on his tour. These shows with Carcass and all ages stuff, so you can get into all of it, maybe 18 and all. But I enjoy. I'm not the kind of guy. I've never been the kind of guy that just wants to sit in the dressing room or just sit on the bus or whatever. It's like I've always, even in Down, at the height of Down, like me and Pepper would always walk around and be like, "Come on, let's go get a beer. Let's go check out the crowd, see what's going on." We do the old trick. We'd have a beer or something and finish it. We'd like walk up to the bar, and of course, someone wants to buy you a beer, so it's like, "Hey, sure, I'll take it." They're like, "Hey man, can I buy you a beer?" Sure. You mind taking a picture? I mean, not at all. Absolutely. If you sign this, fucking right, man, whatever. So I'm just, the way I am, I get kind of antsy. I can't just sit back and relax or whatever and then just go play. I have to like absorb the vibe of the show, and when it's a great show, it gets you pumped up, with the crowd and everything. And, you sip on some beers and get ready to rock and fucking, that's it, man. But I enjoy, making myself accessible. I mean, certain people can, and certain people, like I say, are uncomfortable doing it, and I understand that. I mean, somebody like Phil can't do that. And he knew that. Phil always had his own dressing room, and he listened to his tunes and do his stretching thing and his workout and all that kind of shit. He was kind of, doing his boxing and football stuff on the computer or whatever. He had, you know, everybody's got their own way of getting ready for the show. And mine has always been hanging out, watching the other bands, you know, meeting the fans and whatever, and that gets me ready to play.
We were just telling someone this the other day. Me and him went to a show in '97, see Machine Head, and Phil was standing back by the soundboard.
Oh, really?
And no one was bothering because no one expected to see Phil. This was like in the height of Pantera.
It was the best off date. And I think he just came with him just to hang out.
Yeah.
And he nudged him in the shoulders and looked behind you, and I'm like, oh crap, there he is.
Yeah.
And he was awesome.
I would assume if it was down a Pantera show, he wouldn't have been standing there.
Well,
so
he can't walk in. I mean, believe me, I've seen it. You know, I must say this, when I was in Down, he made a point every fucking night after the show. It could be freezing cold, snow and rain and whatever. He could be sick, whatever. Anybody, you know, he would always, like when Pat Brutus first joined the band, he popped his head in the bus door and he was like, Pat. He's like, yeah, man. He said, did you go sign everything and take pictures? He said, yeah, because just remember, that's part of the job. And he's great to his fans, and he always was, you know, in my opinion. I mean, I'm a fan of Pantera. It's one of my favorite metal bands of all time, you know. But he was always, you know, the kind of person, like after the show, with barricades and security and all, but he would always sign stuff, take pictures, especially for meet and greet and all with the kids. Like if they bring a little kid, he'll put him on his shoulders and think like he's boxing. You know, he's great with kids and shit. He's that kind of guy. But you know, back to the original thing, he can't just at a Down show or a Super Drug show or whatever it might be. He can't just walk out in the crowd and have a beer at the fucking bar, you know.
Yeah. Well, like, I assume you've been in here, right? Sound check or something.
Yeah.
Like that. This venue is pretty right in your face. The stage,
pretty
low and everything. Do you prefer stuff like that? If you prefer it to be a little higher or back, you want the crowd right in your face.
I want one or the other. It's like I enjoy. I mean, I love the big, you know, the high that you get. Not the kind of high that our drummer gets, but the high that you get off of, you know, playing in front of 50, 60,000 people. We actually played a show. There's a German band called Bo's Uncles. They're like the biggest German band ever. And we actually, it's weird. They played 2 shows at a Formula One track in, what is it, Hockenheim?
Yeah.
Hockenheim Ring is a Formula One track in Germany. There's 120,000 people each day. And it's weird because it was Soulfly, Limp Bizkit, and them, and then the next day it was Crowbar and Limp Bizkit and them. So we got believe me, the crowd was going,
hey man, I'm about to head out. Just wanted to give you guys
if I get back.
Yeah.
You hang up the show?
No, I won't be able to. I'm actually going to go to jam tonight. I actually have a show here in a few days, so I'm going to go jam. Yeah, dude, I'll catch you guys soon, man. Alright, brother.
But yes, I mean, believe me, the crowd wasn't exactly going wild for us and all there for them. It's still an amazing feeling to walk out and go, oh my God, you know, this fucking, you know, sea of people.
Yeah.
But it's also great. I like the hot, sweaty clubs, you know, where you, not when it's out of control, where people are knocking over your gear and shit like that, right? When it's everybody's up front, you know, singing and into it. It's a great experience either way. I mean, I've done everything. You know, being in Down, I had the opportunity, you know, to support Pantera and to support Metallica, you know, on a full arena tour and stuff. And you know, we've with Crowbar, we've done a lot of large open air festivals, and it's a totally great feeling, you know. But it's also like I remember we were on tour with Heaven and Hell in Australia with Down, and it was great. It was just Heaven and Hell and Down. You know, it was amazing. So, then I was reading a magazine, like a local thing, you know, about the show the next day or something. Because you had every other day off. Like you'd fly, you do a show. There's no tour buses or anything over there. Because the cities you play are all just along. There's one on the west side, Perth. Everything else is along the bottom, and then you come up on the east side by Brisbane and Sydney and all that. You fly to all the shows. So that's really like it's normally every other day off. You play a show, next day is a travel day, you know. And we were off at the hotel. I happened to be reading a thing, and it was an article with Ronnie James Dio, and he was like, "Yeah, things are going great right now with Heaven and Hell." He goes, "I've done this my whole life," and he goes, "This is what I do, and I've loved every second of it, and I appreciate everything I've got." Because there was a point in my career where there was a point in my career where I was playing to 200, 300 people a night. He goes, if I have to go back and do that again, I'm still happy as long as I can do what I'm doing. And that's the way we feel. It's like, you know, obviously we're not going to headline a fucking arena or 50,000 open air stadium show, but we still get on the bills, you know, so we still get to experience it. And each year we do play and we move up a little higher on the, you know, a little later in the day or whatever. As certain bands that are headliners, I mean, unfortunately, you got, you know, situations like Motorhead, which is one of my favorite bands of all time, now that Lemmy passed away. It's like there's a headliner that every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Europe, every fucking summer, they headline somewhere. They would play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, go back to England, chill, fly back, you know, and whatever. They make a home base and just, you know, play the festivals on the weekend, make a fuckload of cash, and headline them all. I mean, unfortunately, bands retire, you know, people pass away, but I mean, it does enable a band like us that's been around for a long time to move up, you know, a little bit in these situations. But I mean, we're cool with this. This is fine. You know, as long as there's a proper stage, proper PA and monitors, enough to give you a show, you know, that's worth your money, then we're happy to play, man. Whether it's a little hot, sweaty fucking place or a big ass open air stadium or a fucking arena or whatever.
Yeah. Well, so I know you mentioned the Real Kiss earlier. So you're probably not a big fan of Tommy Thayer's version of Ace?
Actually, I think he does a great job. And
or just the fact that he's doing it?
Well, I'll quote Ace. Ace is like, hey, listen, I got nothing against the guy. He goes, the only thing I don't like is he calls himself the real spaceman and all this kind of shit, which pisses me off. But Tommy Thayer's a great guitar player. I was a big fan of Black and Blue. I actually saw Black and Blue open up for Kiss at the Cajun Dome in Lafayette, Louisiana. But in the no makeup thing, like on Asylum or one of those albums. Yeah. And Tommy's a great guitar player, man. I think he does a great job. And Ace even said, he goes, if it wasn't him, it'd be somebody else. Why would I hate this guy? You know, just because, you know. But he goes, I don't like the way. I mean, he's got his own spaceman model guitar and all this kind of. It's like, dude, it's Ace fucking Frehley, okay? I'm sorry. And that's the one thing, because I'm a huge and I'm extremely loyal Kiss fan since I've been fucking 10 or 11 years old. You know, 75, 1976. It's like, I don't buy anything that's got fake Ace and fake Peter. And it's like my thing is, and believe me, you know, I respect the fuck out of Paul Stanley after reading his book. It's an amazing book. If you ever get a chance, it's very worth reading. And I respect Gene, of course, for everything that he's done. And I don't blame them for doing what they're doing at all. But the problem is, somebody somewhere, I was reading an article, or it may even been on like Facebook, and somebody made an extremely valid point. It's like, we didn't grow up loving the Demon, the Catman, the Star Child, and the fucking Spaceman. We grew up loving Ace, Gene, Peter, and Paul. Yeah. And it's like, we love, nobody can, you know, if it was like a mask, like Slipknot or something, you know, where like, or just if it was any kind of thing like that, like War, for instance. It's like people, of course, you know, it's horrible with Dave Rocky and the other fella, too. Who was the other guitar player? Yeah, that passed away and all. But for a band like that can recreate characters or whatever, you know, it's a show and it's different. People are fans of the show and the characters as well as the music, but not necessarily the individuals behind the costume. Where, I mean, that's my opinion. Whereas with the original Kiss, you know, of course there was a mystique because we didn't know what they looked like, you know, and all of that shit, which was the first band ever to do that. It was amazing that there was never, you know, of course you could never get away with that now. Yeah. I mean, why even try? You know, you can't take a shit without somebody videotaping you.
Well, that's why it didn't take long for Slipknot to just get out of their masks, and it's not a big deal.
Yeah, well, of course. I mean, it's not, but I mean, it would still work if, you know, like if you had a certain mask and a number or whatever, as opposed to like I mean, I'm not that knowledgeable on Slipknot. Even I've played quite a few shows with them, and I think they're a great band, and I really love Corey Taylor's a killer fucking singer, and his solo stuff and all too. But I mean, originally it started out just as numbers, correct? Yeah. So I mean, So I mean, that's brilliant in its own right. And like Tommy's a collector of all little figure. He loves Slipknot and shit, so it's brilliant marketing as well. But I mean, with the original Kiss, it was a phenomenon that only lasted a few years, and it's amazing that they really only were really popular from like 76 to 79.
Yeah.
But I happened to be 11, 12, 13, 14 years old in that period, so that was in my life. My life was Kiss.
That was it.
Yeah, so I mean, I was a little kid that was fascinated. My walls were covered. I mean, I'm not lying. Floor to ceiling, the whole ceiling. I even had my light switch in my room. It was a picture of Gene like this, and I put the light switch on his cod piece like it was his dong. I'm serious. Like I cut the little hole so there was not. You could not see any fucking drywall, sheetrock, whatever, popcorn shit. It was nothing but fucking. It wasn't all Kiss, but mainly Kiss. But I mean, that was. I would draw Ace Frehley pictures and Gene Simmons pictures and send them to fucking mail them to the fan club. And me and my friend Steve Parmet went on tour one summer, which meant like every night we'd sleep at each other's house. Like we spend Monday night at Steve's, we spend Tuesday night at my house, and we make like his sister. We make my mom and dad watch it. We put on makeup and outfits and shit and play tennis rackets. And we were on tour to us. We were putting on our makeup, listening to music, getting ready for the concert. I had a fucking milk crate with a broomstick in it and a fake microphone we made out of cardboard taped to it. And that was my mic stand. And like if I was Gene or whatever, we take turns being a different guy. And we had our tour one summer. We went and bought fucking like leggings, I had my mom's clip-on earrings, these little like danglings. Of course we had short hair and everything. Dude, we had real guitar picks we bought from the department store. Used to sell like these little $50 cheap guitars and shit. We bought guitar picks to strum on the strings of the tennis racket and shit.
Well, maybe if they had Tommy and Eric have different makeup,
Well, yeah, I mean, in a way, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I've seen them. In fact, we played with them at Hellfest. Yeah. And I saw them in New Orleans. And, I mean, the thing is what do you do? Like, what happens if Eric leaves for some crazy reason? I mean, you can end up with a fucking, like Paul Stanley was saying with Eric Carr, his first outfit, it was supposed to be some kind of hawk or some shit. And he came out like a dude looks like he's a fucking fried chicken commercial, like some feathers and some chicken suit or something with some beak on. And he was like, it was sad, but we were laughing and like, please, can we come up with a better concept? I mean, it's like if you have revolving members, what are you gonna have? I mean, it's like I saw the Village people are playing, and I'm like, well, it can't be any of the real guys. But I mean, it's just it's a character thing. I mean, whatever. But
well, both of them have already mentioned now that there'll be eventually a Kiss
with no Kiss. Yeah,
with neither Gene or Abe.
Now, see, I would prefer that in the sense that if a band was to put on the show and all the great music that Kiss made and do it, like Paul said, at some point there's going to be a young guy that's going to sing it better than I do and whatever. And he's right, I think I would like it better if they just had Kiss and it was just four dudes that played their asses off and sang great and put on the same fucking gigantic show.
Yeah.
Because it's not. I'm sorry, when you took the makeup off and you had Bruce and Eric, and then before Eric passed away, when you had Eric Singer come in and all that, the band was great. I saw them on every one of them tours multiple times. The band was great. I loved everything, but Hot in the Shade was lemon. That was too gay. But
Crazy Nights.
Great, but I like Crazy Nights. That's killer.
No.
Oh yeah, fool.
Somebody fucking give me a straight word.
But I mean, I loved it. But you know what? It didn't make a difference because they weren't trying to be Ace and Peter.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. When they came back with the original reunion.
I actually like the Seattle record, bro. The,
Carnival. Yeah, it's heavy. It's good.
I like the Seattle record.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good.
I think it's good. Tommy Boy actually wrote 2 songs when I would Gene.
Yeah, like Vinnie Vincent started writing for him before he was in the band.
Yeah.
The second I heard fucking
Ace did off of Lick It Up on that solo record. It was it's off of Lick It Up album. It's on that new Ace Frehley solo record.
Which one is it?
I didn't even know. Like he's not even on that. Record.
I know he does Parasite, but
the fucking song or something.
There's no telling. I remember seeing him at the Superdome on with Vinnie Vincent.
That was my first time I missed him. first time ever. I couldn't go.
That was on the Creatures of the Night tour.
10 years old, my mom and dad wouldn't let me go.
See, I was a senior in high school, so like, we all went out to the show. It was Monday Gras, the day before Mardi Gras. And I remember fucking seeing him at the Dome, Paul, of course, he was, making this up, but he's like, yeah, I'm talking about Pretty Benson. He goes, just want to let all y'all know, I was talking to Ace the other day, and he says hello to everybody, and all this kind of shit. And I'm like, hey, who knows? I mean, did you see the new video?
Yeah.
With Ace and Paul?
Yeah.
And it's like, I mean, when you read these guys' books, and when you read interviews and see interviews, they don't hate each other. It's just shit. It's a relationship that didn't work out. They're too different, personality-wise. Yeah. There's too much difference probably for them to work out. I mean, what Ace thinks is right, Gene thinks is wrong, and vice versa.
I know what it is. Rock and roll hell.
Yeah, take me out of
I had to say that. So it was rock and roll hell. So obviously he must have something to do with the writing of that.
He might have.
Yeah.
But I mean, fuck it.
See, the second I heard Creatures of the Night, I knew it was Ace.
Yeah,
he wasn't fucking anymore. That ain't it. But they put him on the cover.
Yeah. Have you heard that cover album?
Yeah, Tommy got it for me for Christmas. It was killing
it. Man, check this shit out. Man, this is right. I was like, oh, give him to Kirk too.
Yeah.
I got bought two guys.
I'm like, dude.
The best part about it is we're on the same label. We could have got it for free.
Yeah.
I'm like, fucking bought it anyway, dude. I always did. I like support.
Oh yeah, we always
support people.
The last few Motorheads, and Motorhead, Saxon, except shit like Ace. Anytime that kind of. Those are really the only records I buy.
If somebody burns me a fucking album,
I'll still go
out and buy it eventually.
You gotta have it for your collection.
Yeah.
Not on order.
I just did an interview with a guy from Sacramento, and he was telling me there's a store right near the venue. He said he would text it to me that has over 120,000 vinyls. Wow. There's a record store right near the venue. He's like, I don't know if you're gonna have any time, but once we start off with Carcass, we're not even the sound check. We're gonna load in.
Go, bro.
Yeah, exactly. You got your fucking cab or something. I mean,
I got about 100 some vinyls now.
Yeah.
Up on vinyls.
We got about 40 or 50.
With no working turntable. I
Yeah,
still want a turntable that works.
Well, we got that old. We bought a night.
Yeah, last time
we
we
bought a
talked to you, you said you just got
1968
that new
Magnavox thing, which doesn't really. We could probably get one of those new things that you can burn. You can play the record, but it also burns into a disc.
Okay.
Like $250 or something. We want a proper stereo to listen to shit on. I mean, all I have right now is a little portable CD player, other than a computer. Portable CD player or computer.
It's great. That's how I roll all the time. Everybody laughs. I don't even have an iPod. I have a fucking disc.
I don't have anything.
Two disc booklets and fucking headphones. And when I'm at home, I got fucking 4. I got 2 towers with 2 big old giant speakers with 15s. I got 4 speakers. And there's 18 speakers in those 4 speakers. There's 18 fucking speakers. And dude, you know what's hooked up to it? A fucking portable disc.
Yes, that's
I have
all
a
you need.
killer $500-something receiver, and I got the disc plugged into the back of the receiver. That's how I play CDs through that fucking bag. Through that, it's like a little rigged up Jimmy Rig stereo.
Like the other night, I came home from rehearsal, and Robin had on the cable channel, like old 50s and 60s channel or something. She was cooking it all, and I said, because our lives are so busy and at home, it's kind of like when I'm in the car, I'm on the phone. Usually, I'm driving, Robin's on the phone, and we're doing business or whatever. Oh, so and so texted her, email. I got this email. We'll tell them this, blah blah blah. And we're doing business shit. So we don't listen to music in the car. But at home, the other morning, we did some house cleaning, organized a bunch of shit, and I put on Macaulay Schenker record.
Yeah, that's it.
We got it. We got that UFO BBC session. Amazing.
That's awesome.
So have you built up the vinyl collection since you got the turntable last year?
Well, I lost all my vinyl, not in Katrina, but in 1995, we had a big flood in New Orleans. I probably had 400 or so vinyl, a lot of rare shit, and I lost all of that in that flood. I was flooded on flood at the time. I was making the download record. So I never, and of course CDs were coming in, so I was like, well, fucking vinyl's out. But now that it's really making a comeback, There was a time when you couldn't even buy a turntable unless it was some DJ thing at a music store, you know. I mean, people just weren't listening to vinyl. But now, I think that, I like to think anyway, that it's a positive thing, you know, that young kids want to experience, like when I was a kid, you know, when the album cover meant so much.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought of this in a way, like Led Zeppelin Houses of the Holy. I read somebody said something. There was another musician, you know, some big, you know, guy in a big band or something, reading an article in a guitar magazine or whatever, and he goes, "This may sound stupid, but Houses of the Holy record, it sounds orange to me because of the cover." And I was like, you know what? I get what he's saying. It's like, you totally... That's why the early Iron Maiden covers and shit. It's like, when Power Slave came out, I didn't like the cover because it was blue. It was like, it wasn't heavy. It wasn't dark enough, you know. But like, you used to like visualize, like, it had a connection to what the record sounded like and the experience of listening to the record. I mean, I always laid on the bed with my headphones, blasting, reading the lyrics. I mean, I knew who wrote every song, who produced every fucking record, who managed every band, whatever was in the liner notes. You know,
you gotta realize that was an era where people used to buy records because of the way the album cover looked.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Fucking thought it looked cool, and he was like, dude, I gotta buy it. I wouldn't do that nowadays.
Well, I can't even see
you gotta afford all that shit. You gotta be selective in how you spend your money.
You put all this fucking shit on a little fucking thing this big. You can't even read it with fucking, you know. It's like, you know, it was an experience. So, especially like a Gatefold record, you know, you open it up, like Kiss Alive 2 or something, Live, you know.
Live 1.
Yeah, and you open the shit up. You're looking at the book while you're listening, looking at the posters. You know, it's like it was a whole experience that is just not there anymore. And hopefully, vinyl, you know, kind of making a comeback because it's time, man. It's time for fucking, you know, it's a different. It does sound different. No fucking doubt about it. It sounds warmer. It sounds better. There's a certain sound to it, you know, and that's just that's the way it is, man. So hopefully the vinyl thing really takes off, you know, not just as a fan, but as a musician in this business as well, as far as trying to sell product. Yeah, it's difficult to sell CDs. I don't give a fuck who you are. Yeah.
Are you releasing the new album on vinyl?
Oh, I'm sure we will. Yeah. They released Crowbar on like a swirl, like a yellowish, orange, red type, you know, with colors on a special edition thing on vinyl, and they did Symmetry of Black. It's like a black and gold, like Saints colors kind of vinyl or something. So I'm sure we will. Like our one of the main guys, Scott Gibbons, at our labor, was, you know, speaking with him at one of the shows in Brooklyn. He said, he's like, yeah, man, because he said he was really into the idea of vinyl, and he finally got, you know, I guess, you know, guy above him or whatever to agree, like, yeah, it's a good idea to put these things out on vinyl. Like, I have the Ace stuff, he sent me, you know, vinyl and shit. We had a signed poster from Ace and all these, always on the same label, like Black Label Society's on the same label as well, High on Fire. So it's a great label, man. But yeah, it should be on vinyl.
Sure. Do you have a name, or have you announced that?
I can't say it.
Okay. Hey, it's worth a shot.
I'll get stabbed if I didn't try something. No, we're waiting for, you know, proper press release. Yeah. But it's done, man. It's okay.
Cool. Yeah. All right, man. Well, we appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's awesome.
Get me out of this rock and roll hell. Dude, I got that shit stuck in my head.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right, man. Yeah, absolutely, man. Nice to meet y'all, man. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, brother.
There you go, Kirk Windstein from Crowbar, and of course, formerly of Down. Just an amazing opportunity for us again. We'd love to thank Bill Mize from E1 Music for setting that up, and of course, Robin for, you know, helping us out, and of course, Kirk for being willing to do it again. And not only that, you know, he spent close to an hour, it was like 50 minutes recorded there, you know, and a little before and after, and that's probably the longest one we've ever recorded with someone that's on the road, you know, because normally they've got stuff to do, you know,
stuff going on
before, you know, sound check or getting ready for the show and all that. So really cool that he spent that much time. And of course, thanks to Tommy and Matt for chiming in as well.
That's right.
And
hey, Kirk wore a Thunder Underground shirt for a little bit.
That's true.
That was awesome.
Yeah, we've got a picture of that on Instagram.
Yes.
So that's our claim to fame now, right?
And not a bad one.
No. But we didn't even really mention in the early part of this, the show itself, other than we just said we're glad we got to go. I mean, that was just punishing set, badass.
Oh, yeah.
Music,
I mean, it was just crushing.
Yeah.
And, we got to see him play a little longer, and the sound was just crystal clear. I mean, it was just great.
Yeah.
And it was just a great vibe, Everybody was moshing, getting crazy. It was a good night.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the way that place, you walk into Thunder Alley for the first time and you're like, what? It just looks like a, not to say anything bad, it just looks like a big room, and you're like, This isn't built for music.
Yeah.
But somehow it just works. The space, they've got the stage angled in the corner facing out, and everything we've seen. I mean, it's only a second show. We saw Battlecross there with some bands opening, and every set we've seen has all sounded great. So they've got something going on there. I mean, the only downfall is it's hotter than hell.
Yeah.
In the middle of summer, but
yeah, but when Crowbar's on stage, I didn't mind the heat.
Yeah, you forget about the heat.
That's
when
right.
You get those sweet riffs from Kirk. Well, like we mentioned, Kirk's been on here before. Get on our SoundCloud.com/Thunder-Underground. It's one of the top ones there on the spotlight. I forgot the number off the top of my head. But we've also had Chris Broderick on here. I'll get completely opposite end from me here. We've had Shooter Jennings on the podcast.
That's right, yeah.
That's a really cool one, because I know a lot of metal people love the outlaw style country as well.
That's right.
And just to flip complete switch, we've had guys from Warrant in Europe.
Yeah.
And we've got 2 recorded now with Mark Torian from Bullet Boys and Mark Gus Scott from Trickster.
There you go.
Getting total glam on you guys. And I know there's some Crowbar fans that might be like, what? But hey, we've had guys from Battlecross.
Yeah.
Insight. Who else have you had?
Sid Falk from Overkill.
Oh, yeah. That's as cool as it gets right there.
Yeah. Like you said a minute ago, Chris Broderick, Active Defiance.
CJ Pierce from Drowning Pool. Ryan and Tim from Soil.
That's right.
Wino from The Obsessed and Spirit Caravan.
That was a good one.
Yeah. That was really cool. And, we've had, if you're listening like we talked about Smoke Offering, we've had those guys on. We've had a lot of local and regional people on, like Severmind and Driver and Blackwater Rebellion.
Fist of Rage.
Yeah.
Rocket Science. Chad Malone from Senior Fellows. Dave Cantrell.
Right.
Oklahoma Braze, Steve Ray.
Yeah.
We've had all those regional guys on there, local guys.
Speaking of Steve Ray, we need to get him back, because we had him.
I think so.
We had him on pretty early, and before we completely found our way and were confident to just start throwing questions around, so
that's right.
I would love to have him back on as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So if he's listening, hit us back up, or I'll hit him up.
That's right. You should. We will. It'll happen.
Yes. So be on the lookout soon for new Crowbar album that comes out, I believe he said, the last week of September. So we're just a couple months away now.
Yeah, we're waiting for it.
And it'll be a good one, because these guys, they don't put out anything that's not good.
Yeah.
In the history of Crowbar.
Exactly.
All right. Well, we got anything else to ramble about?
No, I think we're done, man.
All right. Well, this was episode 79, Kirk Windstein. Thanks again to E1 Music and Crowbar. Till next time.
Thunder Underground, y'all.